Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome to another tutorial about introduction to Git and GitHub. In this tutorial, I'm going to answer one of my friends' question about how to remove and rename my Git files. By Git files, I mean the files that you have already added them to your Git repository, or in another words, you have already committed them. For committing a file, as you remember, we need to add the file to the stage section and then commit it using git commit -m msh. So to see how we can do these two operations, let's dive in. Before we begin, like always, the notes for this video or for this tutorial are available in Intro to Git repository. The link for this repository is in the video's description. By the help of two of my colleagues, I modified the face of this repository, the README file, a little bit, so you can have access to all the sections and all the videos from the main page. And I hope you find it more convenient to use. So in this video, we're going to see how we can remove and rename files, and especially we're going to talk about how to remove a file and how to rename a file. And we're going to explore two approaches for each of this operation, removing and renaming. So, okay, let's see how we can remove a file. And like always, I'm gonna use the Git underline 01. I don't know why I chose that name, but let's just stick to that. Okay, let me open this file here. Okay, this is the file git 01, and I'm gonna open a cmd here. Okay, it's big enough so you can see the codes easily. Okay, let me pull the latest changes on GitHub repository, git pull origin main, and let me open this repo as well so we can see the changes while we're making them on our local machine. Okay, everything is fetched. Before we can remove a file, we need to create a one. So I don't want to remove names.txt. For that reason, I'm gonna create a file like hello world. And okay, so let me add hello world and let me commit it. So for example, hello world.txt, and I'm gonna push the changes as well. Push the changes to the remote repository as well. So pushing the changes to remote repository is not an obligation, but it's a good practice. It's better you push your changes after you are making a commit. So you're going to make sure that everyone can access it at the same time that you are making them on your local machine. So let me show you the hello world.txt file. It's empty because I just created it and I didn't insert anything to this file. So that's not the intention of this file, of this tutorial. We want to see how we can remove a file. So the hello world is committed at least once. So how to remove it? To remove a file, maybe the usual way that we follow is, okay, you're gonna click on this file and you're gonna click on this one, and you're gonna click on delete, and the file is deleted. Okay, after deleting the file, you can come here and see what is going on your Git repository. Like always, Git status helps all the time, and it says a file has been deleted, hello world, and the fact that it is red, it says that it is not staged. Okay, so it is not ready to be committed. If you want to commit this change that you have made, okay, change can be comprised of like deleting, adding, modifying, or everything. So it says if you want to commit this change, you need to add, or RM stands for remove it. So here we haven't add any file. We've just deleted one, or we haven't modified any file. We have just deleted one. So after deleting a file, you need to use git rm as it says, and the file name. Here the file name is hello world.txt. Okay, the tab won't help you because using tab won't complete this name because of the file is not available, and CMD cannot help you. Okay, its intelligence does not find such a file, although this file exists on the Git repository. So I have to type it down, type all the name character by character. So git rm hello world dash name. Okay, I removed the file. Okay, and again, let's see what git status shows us. And again, git status said that the file is removed. Okay, hello world.txt is removed. So using git restore dash dash s a stage, you can get it out of a stage, or in this section using git restore, you could have restored the file. You could have restored the changes that you have made on this file, which in this case was deleting it. So I don't want to restore it, so I'm just gonna simply commit the changes, and I'm gonna say git commit dash m, for example, remove. Okay, just remove hello world.txt. That's a good commit message. So I'm gonna git push origin main, and I'm gonna push the changes to main repository or GitHub repository. We can't call it main because maybe we've got several repositories, or main branch. That's a good way. Okay, as you can see, remove hello world.txt, the latest commit message, and hello world.txt is removed. One important note, it doesn't mean that hello world is removed from the history of your Git repository. You still can have access. You can have access to it. You can access it. God, here, let me show you again. By clicking on the commits, you can see the history of commits you got, and here at hello world.txt, this was the commit message, or this was the commit that we added the hello world by. Okay, so by clicking on browse files, you can browse the file, and as you can see, hello world.txt is here, in which in this hash commit, or in this commit, you can access the same file. Okay, by removing the file from your Git, it doesn't mean that you're removing it from the whole history of Git. Okay, you're just simply removing it from the next Git commits or Git snapshots that you're making. So let me get back to main branch, or the head, which the Git is not here. The hello world is not here. So you can remove files, or you can simply remove a directory of files. So in this part, I'm gonna focus on this section, how to remove a file using the Git-Style. Instead of a file, I'm gonna remove a directory. So you can see that for removing directories, you have to do a little, you have to make changes on your commands, but that's not really a huge change, as we're going to add 2 characters, I think. So consider, I'm going to call it files for the sake of simplicity, and I'm going to add, for example, again, a hello world here, .txt. Okay, sorry. So let me clear this. Oh, clear doesn't work here. So how do people clean? Maybe like this, scroll down. Okay, so let me show you Git status. Git status says you got a directory. How do we realize that's a directory? Because there is a slash at the end of the file's name, and it says you can add the file, and I'm gonna simply say add file. If I just go on with add files, it's gonna add all the files inside of this directory. So I'm just gonna say add files, and Okay, package slashing when on Windows. So hello world.txt. I'm gonna say add this hello world.txt from that. I'm gonna just make a commit of this change, and I'm gonna say, for example, add files hello world. So you would realize that we are adding a directory and git. Uh, okay, git push origin main. Okay. One more thing before I continue. Just remember, you cannot add uh, an empty directory to your Git repository. You have to add a file, at least add a file. So here, this is the hello world.txt file that we added, and in this one, we want to remove it using Git-Style. I call it Git-Style. I think it's funny to call it Git-Style. So uh, as always, you could simply come here, right click on this file and go on with the delete, the usual graphical way that you follow. But in this way, in this part, we are going to see how to remove it by using git commands. So using git commands, simply you can go on by git files and hello world.txt. Simply. Actually, even in the graphical way, we use this rm, but it's okay. We can simply use it without graphically removing it, or without removing it by hand manually, and then using this command. So simply you can do this as well. You can remove it by git rm. It doesn't need you, it doesn't require you to remove the file before using this command. It simply will remove the file from your directory, and it will add the changes to the stage as well. So this is how you can remove your file from a directory, or you can go on with this way, or you can simply use this uh, R command that says recursively remove all the files inside this directory, which is called files as well. Okay, you can use both of them. This will remove the files and remove the directory as well. So for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna remove the file, not just the whole directory. So okay, as you can see, it says the hello world.txt has been removed from the from files directory. Again, git status always helps. It says that it has been deleted. As you can see, the color of it is green, and it says changes to be committed. It simply says these files are added to your stage section. Okay, you can use git restore.stage to get them out of a stage, but they are staged already because we use the git rm, and git rm simply removes the file. As you can see, it is removed. We don't have any files here because as I told you, we cannot have empty files on git. And the file is added to stage as well. Or let's restore it. Let's see what happens. I want to show you that you can restore your files. You can get them out of a stage. And for example, I want to restore this file. Let me copy it. And let me show you the Git standard. This is the exact uh, scene that we had when we manually removed the file without using any Git commands. And in this section, even it says that the files are removed. Okay, I told you this part is exactly like this message is likely like the one that we had when we manually removed them. Okay, so even in this part, we can restore the removed files. Okay, using git restore and the file's name. Restore it, as you can see. And let me show you that the files are here. Okay, the files are here. I didn't create them again. I just restored them. Okay, So let me remove the file again. And why the directory itself is removed? Because we cannot have empty directories on GitHub. Okay, on Git, not GitHub. The Git does not save empty directories on its repository. So, okay, removed it again. Status, as you can see, it is deleted, and I'm gonna commit it simply dash m, for example, remove files hello world.txt. Maybe let me add Git-Style as well, so we would know that this one has been removed using Git-Style. So, oh, what did I do? Oh God. Git-Style remove files hello world. Okay. And as you can see, the changes are tagged by delete. It says you're deleting a file. Git push origin main. And that's it. This will be removed. Okay, as you can see, it is removed. We don't have the files and the hello world.txt file. And again, this is not removed from the history. You still can have access to them. You can see them by changing your by checking out different commit hashes. Okay, you can move forward and backward between commit hashes, as I think we explored it in the first video. Yeah, in the first video I show you how we can change your different how you can move between different commit messages or between different commits. So I think that's it for removing, and let's rename a file. Let's see how we can rename different files. Okay, renaming a file. Okay, why do we might need, for example, rename a file? In this case, we're going to introduce a typo error in one of the files name, and we're going to see how we can correct that name. There are several reasons why you might remove or rename the files. For example, one of them is like you're merging two files, and in that case, you want to, for example, remove one of them and maintain the other one. In that case, you have to remove one of your files. Or, for example, you have a file and you realize it is not as explicit as possible. It is not as informative as it should be. For example, you got a file that says names.txt, and you open the files and see along the names it contains the emails as well. So you may want to change the names.txt to like names underline emails.txt or something like that. There are several reasons you might want to rename your file. So let's see how we can rename files. Okay, here I'm gonna create a new file. Okay, I can't use touch here, and again I'm gonna call it like names as the notes. I'm gonna follow the notes. So as you can see, names dot I want names underline database, and for example, I'm gonna make this error intentionally, this typo intentionally, that I don't add the A of data. Okay, I forgot. For example, I forget to add the A of database. So consider you do this, you introduce such a typo, and you like add this file names underline database, and at first consider that you don't realize, you don't find out this typo. So I'm gonna use the same git add git commit dash m, for example, add names database.txt and git push origin main. Okay, so I added the file to stage, I committed it, and I pushed the changes to remote repository. And as you can see, it's here. Okay, after a while, like 40 seconds, you realize, oh, you have a typo here. There's a typo in the name of this file. So how we can change it? The usual way we would change a file's name is like clicking on it and clicking on the rename, and we may wanna, like, for example, add a here and click on the enter. We made the changes and we want to see how we can apply these changes using Git. So as always, Git status always helps, and because we did it manually, Git says you deleted a file. And what is that file? The file is that base, okay? You deleted the file that had a typo. You've got another untracked file, okay? The Git, this way, the Git does not find out that we just renamed it. It says, you know what, there was a file and it seems it is removed, it is deleted, and there is another file which is untracked. So it says you can track this file using git add, and this file is removed, but the changes are not on the stage. If you want to remove it, you can use git remove. In this case, we are going to follow what it says. For example, we're going to say git rm, name the typo, and we are going to add the new file, git add names underline database.txt, simply like that. And again, git status, like always it has. And here, after doing all this two operations, I mean, removing and adding the new one, the Git finds out that, oh, I think you renamed it. You renamed this file names that base to names that database.txt, okay? It finds out, oh, you was renaming it, okay? I got it, you renamed it, and I tagged it as renamed. And as we covered it before, when it is green, it means it is on the stage. So simply you have to commit it. For example, I'm gonna say fix typo, and I'm gonna say like rename this. Let me copy it. Okay. Maybe you want to use rename blah to blah. Okay. And I can simply push it, git origin main. And as you can see, the tag of the commit says this file is renamed to the new one. Okay, the tag clearly says that you have renamed it, although we had to delete one file and add the second one. After doing this, Git could understand that, oh, you wanted to rename it. Okay, so I push the changes to remote repository, and let me refresh it. We're on the on the main or on the top of our commits. As you can see, fixed typo, and this is database. The typo is fixed. Okay, names underline database. The typo is fixed, and this commit message clearly says that this commit says we wanted to fix a typo, and we did it by renaming it. Okay, by renaming the file, which their names are included as well. So this is how you can rename a file or whatever you want to rename it using by changing its name manually, then trying to introduce it to Git. In the next part, we're going to see how to make these changes using Git's proposed commands, which is more convenient, I think. So let me go on the section which is Git-Style. And we are going to see how we can change the name using the proposed commands by using the commands that are proposed by Git. So again, let me show you the files that we've got here, names underline database.txt. Okay, let me remove names that database as fast as I can. So remove names database. So I want to create again names underline database with the same typo. Keep push origin main, and here let me create a new file, names data. Okay, I'm gonna remove a again, base, so we will have the same typo. Git add names. As you can see, a is not here, so we have the typo. Commit. I'm gonna make a commit of this file. So as we said, we are working on files that already have been committed once. Okay, we're not just working on usual files, the files that are introduced to Git. So git commit flag add names database. I don't make the same mistake intentionally because I consider that it was unintentionally. Okay, I just made it. I didn't know that I'm making this mistake. So the commit message could be anything. You don't need to make the same mistake on commit message, because if you know that you're making a mistake, so you should, before committing it, you should, for example, rename it, and that's much easier. And okay, let me close this. Git commit, git push origin name. Okay, so let me show you that base. Okay, we've got a typo here as well. So how to rename it using Git? Git says to rename a file simply use mv, which I think it stands for move, which means move the name, move file name to another one. I think it is, and that stands for move. I'm not really sure about it, but it renames the files as well. Git mv names database. Okay, I want to move it or rename it to database.txt. Actually, these rm, mv, rn-r, these are all commands of Linux commands. Okay, so learning Linux is gonna help you. It's gonna help you a lot for understanding what these commands are. So, but MV stands, you can consider that it moves the files and at the same time it renames it as well. We can consider it that way. So we are renaming names underline the txt to names underline database.txt. Actually, the typo is fixed here, as you can see. And let me show you okay, no, status. And as you can see, it doesn't says, okay, you remove the file, you added a file or something like that. Simply understand that, okay, I got it. You rename the file. You renamed names underline database.txt to names underline database.txt. Okay, I got it. Simply said, you don't need to, for like here, let me find it, delete a file and then add a new file. Simply with just one command, you can introduce what is going on. You can convey what you want to do, and as you can see here, with just one command, where is it? Git move or git mv for renaming. We just simply rename the file and it is already added to this stage. Okay, to the stage section. And let's say if we want to get it out of the stage, we can use git restore, which, and this way we don't want to do that. So simply, as the changes are ready to be committed, so let us have a git message. For example, we're going to say git typo, fix typo, and let me copy this here. I'm going to say, for example, rename names underline database to let it be that, and that's it. Okay, or we can add Git-Style here as well. So whenever we see the command, we would realize that this command was initially created using a git command. That this commit message. So, and as you can see, it is tagged rename, okay, like the previous one. So I'm gonna push it to push the changes to remote repository. Okay, let me, as you can see, it has a typo, and let me refresh it, database. And again, the typo is fixed. And again, it doesn't mean that the typo is fixed from your whole history. You still have the typo here, okay? You still can access it, as you can see here, okay, DB. And it doesn't mean that it is removed from your whole history of GitHub repository. So that's it. By using git command for renaming, we are at the end of this section. So I encourage you guys to introduce this repository and or videos to your friends, and give a star to project, and likewise like the video, and subscribe to the channel and click on the bell ring so you would be notified of the future videos. Thanks for watching this video, and until the next one, have a great time.